Now, every coach ain't perfect. I know certain things about Coach Howell people didn't like. I get it. There's not one coach that I've seen or I've heard a program where everybody that comes through that program loves and admires that head coach. I know, and I Creighton, right? They had a kid that just transferred off Creighton's team in the middle of the season. So what happens? And that's coming from a private school to a whole nother school. So what I realized in coaching is that you ain't gonna make everybody happy. But what I also understand is parents that chase what you're talking about, like that highlight, let me be the highlight player here. I didn't see it. There was two kids that I saw that left that became successful in the next program they went to, which was Dylan and Jordan. When they went to Washburn and they won a championship. The other group of kids that I saw leave went to Como. It wasn't a suburban school, but it was another school. And if you ask me, I thought they lost. Most kids that I saw that left Central did not leave to a winning program. They lost stock. They may have continued to play and got better. I think like Aaron Delaney, he was one that continued to keep pushing his path forward. But I'm just a real prideful neighborhood dude, man. Like, I couldn't imagine playing at St. Thomas or Tartan. Like, my family and my neighbors could walk to my games, or I would see them at the gas station. Hey, Malik, man, good game, man. I saw you in the paper. Like that interaction, that involvement from the community, I can't get that out there. And I've also seen kids get sent out there to be rebounders and pick setters. They're not the dominant person in these programs, and that's what most of these people don't understand. You're going to send your kid to a farm system. They've been playing together since they was, I'll give them 10. It's probably like 8, but I'll say 10. They've been playing together since they've been 10 years old. Now they're juniors, and you think your son or your daughter is going to go into their system and now become the person. There's very few people that will, and I'm, as a coach, every coach plays to win. So if you're just that dominant and that good, Royce White, yeah, whatever, they'll figure it out. But most people and most kids ain't that. They're average at best. And so to take them now into another program, like, okay, yeah, Mark, you'll play, but just don't shoot too much. And people leave the city to go to these suburban programs and play in shells. But I feel like I'm talking too much.
No, we getting it. Okay, we love this. Go ahead, Coach McCoy. That's why we wanted it. We trying to get the coach's perspective, and it's all real. Like you just said, like, you gotta have that pride. I think that was taken out with participation as well. But I'm gonna get off the participation trophies. Go ahead, Coach McCoy.
I think the biggest thing that sticks out for me personally is two-parent households. Is because I'm a diehard St. Paul to the end, but I kind of not having my dealing with my sons the way I had to is what's really has my daughter where she's at right now, with her being the last one. But me and my son's mothers didn't see eye to eye on schools. If I could have had it any kind of way, y'all know I had that group with Taylor Knighton and Keenan, all those Pierre who went to Johnson, no offense, but all them would have went to Central with me. Yeah. But for whatever reason, Central decided when my group was about to be freshmen that they didn't want me to coach there no more. So that was my reason for going to Tartan.
Say that again?
And coaching. Yeah.
No, back up to what you...
When my group, Lil Marlon and Marcus Taylor Knighton and Dalen and Peanut and all them went in, were getting ready to go into 9th grade, I got pulled into the hallway and was told that they didn't want me to come back and coach at Central the next year.
I never heard that.
Yes. So that was the reason. So my next thing was, what do I do next for my son? Well, my old high school coach was coaching at Hill Murray. St. Agnes is my old high school coach was the head coach at Hill Murray. Yeah. So I sent my son Nahil Murray for his freshman year. He did well there. I wish he would have stayed there. He ended up playing with Marshawn. That ended up transferring from Tartan. Well, it didn't work out there with the private school, the payments, all that stuff. So he ended up at Roseville, which is a suburban school right next to St. Paul. He hated it there. I didn't like it there. I would get into it with his coaches over just simple stuff. Like, I'm not saying he's going to the league or none of that, but like you said, 5, 6, 7, 8 of these kids been playing out here in Roseville since 3rd grade. So you can't just come and get in the mix of it. No, you're not playing. So then he ended up at Tartan, same thing. Right. You know, so I think kids should stay home, moral of the story. Yeah. Because my thing is, the stuff that they pull, we get on Coach Howell about, and I've seen worse. When you play a kid his whole senior year and then you get the sections and he's not in your rotation, all of a sudden, like you said, no explanation, no nothing. He waiting thinking, okay, I usually go in about this time. So that's why I always say kids need to stay home, because they only want our kids to come out there so we're not competitive in the city. They hate to see us all together. You see what happened when all the girls stayed together? Yeah. Then they come up with a transfer rule. Yeah. You know, so and that goes for all these suburb coaches. They only want our kids to come out there so they don't have to play against all of them.
Imagine that.
And our kids,
I believe that wholeheartedly.
And the parents don't see that. You know, that he won. You got kids sitting on the bench that would have started at Central and been 15, 20-point scorers. They getting spot minutes in the suburb schools.
And the 2020 clubs.
And it's sad to see, because they don't have good means for our kids. I'm just keeping it real.
They're not bred for our kids.
They'll take the one. They'll always take the one kid. Like, you say, okay, out of that group, I'm going to take him. But them other 4 to go out there with him, you'll sit the bench.
Yeah, I'm going to show you it's possible.
You're going to be playing JV as a senior. That type stuff.
But to your point, you talking about like having both parents in a household. And like, I watched your son go through his challenges.
Yeah.
But he still ended up playing college basketball.
Mm-hmm. Went further than any of the group that he played with. And people don't realize he went to Palm Beach, JUCO. They were number 1 in the nation. He played there for 2 years and then went to Payne College in Augusta. Them dudes that he played with his senior year didn't have a career like that. Mm-mm. And he didn't even get to play like he should his senior year at Tartan.
And I remember, but I think my point to bringing that up is a lot of kids don't have the dad support, just a level-headed.
Gotta be there.
I don't know their mom's situation, but just the approach to, we're going to just keep fighting through. We're going to keep pushing through it, because a lot of kids get washed out.
And quit.
They come through a couple little challenges of adversity and like, you know what? Like, I'm good. And to your point, like, yeah, we lose a lot of good talent that way because they just stop playing. Like, you know what? I don't even want to go through that no more.
Yeah.
But if they continue to push through it, it's just going to build character, learning how to deal with adversity. Mm-hmm. And then when you see a challenge, like, yeah, all right, well, what's up? Like, all right, head down, I'm going through it.
Yeah.
And now look at where he's at now, because he's learned how to go after what he wants, regardless of who's in front of you, man. I've been proud to watch him. I'm proud to watch you have him. And I know as a dad, man, like, that got to feel special, man, to see where your son's at, knowing that people wasn't seeing his light. They was trying to dim his light, and he kept, moving stuff out of his way, trying to show his light. Now he's out here shining, man. So that's it's a blessing.
It's what we need 2-parent households.
Yeah,
that's a big thing that these athletes, especially in our community, is missing. Is because people can take advantage of single parents. That's where the advantage comes in, because these kids get fed false information because they have nobody to say, nah, we're not doing that. Yeah. Nah.
But
You can tell whoever told you that we got to come with
have him come tell me that.
Yeah.
I think you said that wrong. Have him come tell me.
Right.
Have him come tell me that. Well, you was co-parenting too, though, wasn't you?
Yes. And that's what I said. Their moms allowed me to make those decisions because they knew I knew more about that.
They knew that was your lane. And that's the only reason I brought that up, because I hear you saying 2-parent households. Yeah. But it's 2 active parents.
2 active parents.
2 active.
It don't
parents.
have to be in the same house.
Yeah,
2 active parents.
You gotta let dad play dad.
And you gotta let mom do things that they do well.
100%.
You know.
But I think sometimes especially in the basketball world, we'll see a lot of single parent households where we have to deal with mainly the mom.
Yeah.
The dad don't really come around. If there is any interaction or communication, it's typically through the mom.
Okay.
I noticed that even with coaching. As a head coach in high school, I've never talked to more moms. Like, why ain't your dad coming to talk to me? I used to ask the players, like, why is the moms you have a father. I see your dad, your pop's in the stands. I'd rather talk to him. And why is your mom coming to tell? Let me talk to your dad. Well, we can get to the core of this more if I could talk to your pops.
Yeah.
I think just dealing with my son and my wife, like, they're the nurturing side. They're gonna find. They're trying to. They're on the advocating side. Yeah. They want to come advocate. Dads are gonna be more of the accountability piece. Like, hold up, you should have ran harder. No, you didn't have a good game. Mom's like, oh, baby, that was a good game. Like, what? I had 5 points and 7 assists and 2 turnovers. What do you mean that was a good game?
I tell people right now, that's my biggest fear as a dad, okay? And you can take it how you want. My biggest fear is having to tell my daughter she had a good game knowing she was out there so cheeks. Like, baby, you was all right. You did so good out there.
You ain't going to do that.
You can word it a little different, but you can tell her that.
The truth is always enough, dog.
I'm going to have to lie.
My way of doing it is, and I get that. Yeah, it's straight cutthroat. But my words, I just adjusted a little different and say, we got some things we need to work on.
We just got a little bit more work. Yeah.
We got some things we need to work on.
Yeah, you did good, but we just go work on.
We got to work on some things. Like right now.
Yeah, like you don't get to go to your friend's house.
We're gonna do some. We got about 30 minutes of work.
In fact, you and your friend coming over here.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, I want to appreciate y'all for coming through. Like I said, 2 legends from the city, man. Like we couldn't be more thankful. And we talked about this off camera, but look. They deserve their own interviews. They both will get their own interviews. You know what I'm saying? Because it's legendary. They was already. I see the reminiscing going on in y'all's head. Like I can answer so much and say so much. So, we'll love to get these stories out. And it's definitely, like he said, he watched you win a state championship. I done heard all the stories, so I know the people would love to hear, and I know certainly some I haven't heard. So
it was a movie.
We got to put that on. We got to put that on wax.
You talking about a city behind you?
Yeah. So we appreciate Coach Malik and Coach Marlon coming through. You know what I'm saying, for this new thing that we're doing for Coach's Corner, man. I hope you guys appreciate it and enjoy some of the knowledge and game that they gave out. I know you guys. You guys anything else? Oh, it just went off on us.